And record. Okay, great. So yes, we're going to start on our feet today. Let me make sure you're going to see the whole body. There we go. Okay. So if you start with your feet in the nice hip width distance apart, toes pointing forwards, roll your shoulders back and down and your pelvis in a nice neutral position. Just rest with your arms down by your side. And let's just start with a couple of nice breaths. So breathing in through the nose. Feel your ribs expand, belly inflate. And then breathe out through the mouth. Drawing your belly button inwards and closing the rib cage back together. Couple more, breathing in. And out. In. And out. Lovely, and then just a little bit of stretching out of the neck. So if you drop your right ear down to your right shoulder, feeling the stretch, just moving as far as you need to feel the stretch, but not straining anything. And then gently coming back into the center and dropping over to the other side. Lovely, and then slowly back into the middle again. And then just looking over each shoulder, feeling the stretch in different areas of the neck. Just moving nice and slowly back through the center over the other shoulder. Hold for a breath or so. And then back into the center. Just drop your chin down towards your chest. And then chin up towards the ceiling. Just looking up. Good. And then head back into the center and start into some nice backwards rolls of your shoulders. Good. Then fingertips up onto your shoulders and move into your nice elbow circles. Perfect. And then release the hands and come into some nice full circles of the arms. Breathing in as you stretch up. And breathing out as you circle the arms back down. Then we're going to add in a little twist of the body. So breathe in, arms up. And then on your exhale, as you bring the arms down, just twist around to the right hand side. Come back into the center and breathe in, stretch the arms up. And then a little twist over to the left as you exhale, bringing the arms down. And just keep repeating. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, twist slightly to the right, arms down. Inhale through the center, arms up. Exhale, twist to the left, arms down. One more to each side. Lovely. Then a nice breath in, shoulders back. And on your exhale, we'll come down into a nice roll down, just releasing the vertebra, feeling your spine stretch out. Take a nice inhale at the bottom and then breathe out to lift yourself back to stand. Inhale, shoulders back. And again, exhale, roll down. Stay down at the bottom and then just walk your hands around to the outside of your right foot. And then slowly walk your hands around to the outside of your left foot. Come back into the center, take a nice breath in, and then exhale, lift yourself back up. Breathe in, shoulders back. We'll repeat that one more time. Exhale, roll down. And then hanging here, just walk your hands or twist your body around to the outside of your right foot and leg. Feeling a nice wee stretch across the back. And then around to the other side, keeping the knees soft. Good, back into the center, nice breath in, and then exhale. Lift yourself back up. Good. Now just put your hands onto your hips and we'll draw circles with the hips. So again, keeping your knees nice and soft and kind of rotating on the feet. Just getting as big a circle as you can, just to kind of loosen up the hips a wee bit. And then change the direction of your circles. Lovely. Okay, then holding onto a wall or chair if you need to. Lift up your right leg so the knees kind of level with your hip. And then do 4 nice big wide opening circles. Touching the foot down in between the circles if you need to. And then swap over, do the same on your left leg. Brilliant. Then coming down to the ankle on your right side. So just lift your right foot off the floor and do little circles inwards. And then outwards. And then the other side, circles in. And circles out. Perfect. Okay, then if you come down to the end of your mat, and we're going to roll down onto our hands and knees. So standing tall with your shoulders back, take a nice breath in, and then breathe out. Roll yourself down, bringing your hands down onto the floor, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, feet flat on the floor. Move into our cat-cow just to mobilize and stretch out the spine. So as you breathe out, you round across the shoulders, tucking your chin into your chest, breathing all the air out towards your knees and your thighs. And then breathe in, looking forwards, pushing the belly down, pushing the tailbone up. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And one last breath out, rounding across the shoulders. Lovely. Okay, then put your toes, so your toes are pressing down onto the floor. We're going to press up into our downward facing dog, okay? So take a nice breath in, and then on your out breath, you're going to lift those knees up off the floor, take the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and just try and press the heels down towards the ground. Now don't worry if your heels aren't touching. It doesn't matter one bit. So you're just trying to stretch out your shoulders and stretch out the backs of the legs. So now if we start alternating, bending one knee, so if you bend your right knee, press your left foot down towards the floor, and then switch. Bend your left knee, press your right heel down to the floor, and switch. And just keep on going. If you're wearing socks, they start to kind of creep off your foot, look like little elf shoes. Good, a couple more. Lovely, then press both your heels down towards the floor again. Just rest here for a moment. Trying to bring your head down in between the elbows. And then just come forwards again, bringing your knees down onto the floor. Bring your toes together. Take your knees a little wider apart and just push back, pushing your bum down onto your heels. And relax, taking the weight off those wrists. Bring your forehead down onto the floor if it's comfortable for you. And just take a breath here. Good. Okay, then come back. We're going to go back up into our downward dog again. Okay, hope everybody feeling okay, not blood not rushing to the head too much. Okay, so hands under your shoulders, toes curled again, nice breath in. And then when you're ready, on the exhale, lift up again into your downward facing dog. Now, with both your heels pressing down towards the floor, we're just going to rock our hips from one side to the other. So as you rock the hips over to the right, you'll feel a really intense stretch down the right leg, hopefully. And then as you rotate the hips, or drop the hips over to the left, you should feel a nice stretch down the left leg. And just keep on going right to left. Letting your feet kind of move a little on the mat. They don't need to be completely stuck. Just feeling free to move your body in any sort of little ways that you need to feel more comfortable or to get deeper into the stretch. Good, then come back to central again. Take a nice breath in, and then on your out breath, come down, but just hover your knees off the floor. Don't touch them down unless you really, really need to. Good, just hold and breathe here. So your knees should be just about an inch or so off the ground. Good, keep on breathing. In and out. One more breath in and out. And drop the knees fully down. Bring the toes together, knees a little apart again, and just push back one more time, bum towards the heels, and rest yourself forwards, bringing your head down onto the floor again if it's comfortable. Just rest, breathe, taking the weight off your wrists. Lovely. Okay, from here we're going to go down onto our elbows, just to give the wrists a wee bit of a rest. Okay, so hopefully shoulders are feeling okay with all of this. So we're going to do a little bit of glute and hip work. So to start with, we're just going to take our right leg out behind. So elbows now are underneath your shoulders. So we're resting on our elbows, not our hands. Stretch your right leg out straight behind you. Now just lift that leg up, just as high as you can manage, squeezing into your glutes. You might feel a little bit of a sort of twist and rotation of your pelvis, that's fine. And then lower it down, slide the knee back in underneath the hip. Take your left leg out straight behind you, and then lift it up, just again as high as you can manage. A little rotation of the pelvis is fine. And then lower that leg down and bring the knee back in underneath your hip. Good, now take that right leg. I need to move a wee bit forwards this way, I think. So take your right leg out behind you again. And then we're going to just bring it all the way up the right hand side, just as far as you can manage. Can you see that what I'm doing? So leg out behind and then just bring it up. Slide it up on the floor, just again as far as you can manage. And then take it back, put the knee in underneath the hip. Then repeat on your left leg, out behind, and then slide it up the left-hand side as far as you can manage. And then take it back, knee underneath your hip. Okay, now we're going to put all of that kind of together into making little rainbows with our legs. You might remember this from live classes with me if you used to come to my classes. It's one of my favorite moves. Okay, so take your right leg out behind you. Now bring it up the right hand side and touch it down on the floor. Now we're going to lift that right leg, take it up as high as you can manage up above, and then keep rotating that pelvis so you can bring that right leg down over to touch down onto the left hand side, just as far as you can manage. Then lift it back up again and touch down on the right hand side. So we're drawing nice big rainbows with this right leg. Okay, so just keep on going. Lift up and touch down on the left hand side. Lift back up and touch down on the right hand side. Keep on going, up and over and down, up, over, around the outside. Good. Up and down on the left hand side, up, down on the right hand side. One more, up, down on the left, up, down on the right. Good, slide that right leg back in. Take a moment just to push back, give the shoulders and the wrists a little rest. And then we're going to repeat that with our left leg. Okay, so onto our elbows again. Now take that left leg straight out behind you and then bring it up around the left hand side, touch it down, then lift that left leg up as high as you can manage, keep rotating the pelvis, and then touch that left leg down onto the right hand side. Good, lift up again as high as you can, touch down on the left. Good, lift up, down, and over. Brilliant. Up, across, and down. Lovely. Lift up. Strong in the shoulders, strong in the arms. Down. Good. Taking your time with the rainbows. Not rushing any of this. Up and over. Up and over. One more. Lift up. Touch down. Lift back up. Touch back down. Good. And then bring the knee back in underneath the hip. And one more time, just toes together, knees a little wider apart. Push back and just rest. Now if your arms are feeling it a bit much now and they don't want to be stretched forwards, just relax the arms and bring them down by the side of the body, just wherever is comfortable. Allow them to flop a little bit. Good, rest, recover, breathe. Brilliant. Okay, then if you come up into a nice seated position, and we're going to do a little bit of stretching work now, okay? So sitting just with your legs straight out in front of you, if you can bend your right leg, so your right foot is pressing in against the inside of your left thigh, okay? Now again, just wherever is comfortable. All right, then sitting up nice and tall, take a nice breath in. And then on your out breath, we're going to slide our body forwards over this left leg. Reaching down towards the foot if possible. And just hold here and breathe. So breathing in and then breathing out as you relax and smile. you're able to go a little closer, hopefully, to the foot, maybe bringing your head closer down to the knee or to the thigh, just wherever you can manage is perfect. Holding, breathing, trying to go a little further on each exhale. One last breath. Use the leg, so pull on the leg, pull on the foot. See if you can get a really nice deep stretch down the back of that left leg. Brilliant. And then release, sit back up. Good. And we're going to swap over to the other leg now. So bringing the foot in to wherever is comfortable. Again, if this sort of tight bend in the knee doesn't work for you, don't worry. You'll just have that other leg straight. It doesn't need to be completely bent. Just work with your own body, okay? Now, sitting up nice and tall, breath in. And then on your exhale, slide yourself forwards over this right leg now. See how much tighter or how much looser it feels on this side. Where can you reach? Good. Keep breathing and holding. Inching a little bit further on your out breath. Remember, smile, relax. Try not to hold any tension as you're going deeper into the stretch. Know that it's temporary and that you're fully in control. You can come out of it at any moment if it gets too much. Good, one more breath. And then release and sit back up. Brilliant. Then if you can, just bring the soles of your feet together and come into your butterfly stretch. So feet as close in towards the body as possible. So you can kind of hold on to your toes. Now again, not everybody will be able to get into that position, so just work with whatever you've got and whatever you can manage. And then just try and press those knees down towards the ground. You might want to take a wee moment just working on one leg and then swap over to the other. And then just using the legs themselves, so no pressure from the elbows, just with little movement, little butterfly stretch with the knees. Great. Lovely. Okay, then if you come down to the end of your mat with your knees bent, and we're going to roll down onto our back. So you can have your hands in underneath your knees for support if you want to, or you can have your arms extended, just whichever you prefer. So take a nice breath in with a straight spine, and then on your out breath, lead with the pelvis, draw the abdominals inwards, chin drawing in towards the chest, and let's roll ourselves down completely onto the floor, letting your head and your shoulders touch. Just stretch the legs out for a moment. If you have the space, maybe take the arms up overhead as well, and just enjoy a full length stretch for a moment. Good. And then if you bend the knees again, bringing your feet flat onto the floor. Now we're going to take our right leg and put it straight up towards the ceiling. Take a nice breath in, and then on your out breath, curl up, lift your head and shoulders up off the floor, reach around to grab hold of that right leg, and just start walking the hands up the back of your right leg and drawing that right leg in towards the body. Hold, breathing in, and then breathing out, bringing head and leg closer together. Again, we're concentrating on this stretch down the back of the leg. Try and relax and smile, not holding tension, but feel those arms work as well. Good, one more breath. and release. Head and shoulders back down onto the ground. Right foot goes flat. Left leg goes straight up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in. And then breathe out. Lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. Reach around, grab hold of your left leg. Try not to press onto the back of your knee joint, so either just below or just above, wherever you can manage. And just breathe. Every exhale, you're trying to pull that leg a little closer and lift your head and shoulders a little higher. Good, a couple more breaths. Feeling those arms working. Lovely. And release. Head and shoulders back down onto the floor and feet back down onto the floor. Okay, now we're going to put that together into our nice moving scissors stretch. So legs go straight up, both of them, straight up towards the ceiling. If you need a bend in the knee, just keep the knees bent. It's no big deal, okay? Just whatever is comfortable for your own legs. Now, nice breath in. And then as you exhale, lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. Reach around to the back of your right leg. Now take a nice breath in. And then on your exhale, pull the right leg in as you lower the left leg down. Toes pointed, unless your feet are cramping, then just relax them. And then switch. Pull left leg in. Right leg down. Inhale as you switch. Exhale as you pull. Good. Speed it up a wee bit now. Good. Keep your chin drawn in towards your chest so you're not straining the neck too much. If it becomes too much on your neck, simply put your head and shoulders back down onto the floor. And don't worry about it, just keep going with the legs. This is such a good move. You're working so many different muscles. Feeling those arms working hard as well. Last one each leg. Lovely. And relax. Head and shoulders down onto the floor. Bringing the knees in towards your chest and your tummy for a little hug. Perfect. Okay, then put your feet flat down onto the floor and bring your pelvis into a nice neutral position. Okay, so you might want to play around with tilting back, tilting forwards. Just feel what those two extreme tilts feel like. And then rest in neutral in the middle. So you've got a little lightness under the small of your back, but the back of your ribs is still connected. There's no arching of the middle section of your spine. We're going to go into some pelvic lifts, shoulder bridge. Okay, so take a nice breath in, and then on your out breath, start by tilting the pelvis back towards the floor. So your lower back goes in towards the floor. Glutes become light and lift up. Keep going with that, lifting your lower spine and your middle spine. Be careful not to, overarch the back. So we're just wanting a nice straight line, squeezing into those glutes, pressing the hips up towards the ceiling. Try not to let the knees open, so you're keeping your knees in line with your hips. Take a breath in, and then exhale. Slowly lower down again, feeling middle section of your spine, lower section of your spine, and glutes. Take a breath in, and exhale, tilt and lift. Good, hold, breathe in. And exhale, lower. Great. Okay, now bring your feet together, but keep your knees apart. So you're sort of making a diamond shape with your knees. Okay, and we're going to lift and lower in this position. So take a breath in, and then on your out breath, squeeze into your glutes and lift. Good. Keeping those knees wide and feet together. And then slowly lower back down. Good. Release, relax the glutes. Exhale, tilt and lift. Lovely, hold, breathe in. And exhale, lower. And release. Good, exhale, tilt and lift, keeping knees wide, feet close. And lower. Good. Now, on this next one, we're going to lift and hold. So exhale, lift your hips. Now, keep the hips in the raised position. And we're just going to close the knees. And then open the knees wide. Keeping the hips lifted. Close the knees, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then open the knees. Good, 2 more. Close the knees, squeezing everything. And then open the knees wide into your diamond. Good, 1 more. Close the knees and squeeze. And open the knees wide. With the knees open wide, lower your spine back down. Good, we'll do that 1 more time, okay? So nice breath in. Exhale. Tilt pelvis back, squeezing into your glutes. Lift the hips up off the floor. Now keeping these hips raised. Close the knees, squeezing. And then open your knees wide. Good, and again, close the knees. And open the knees into your diamond. As wide as you can manage, okay? And then 2 more, squeeze knees together. And open knees wide. 1 more, squeeze the knees together. Good, open the knees wide, width them wide, lower your spine back down to the floor. Lovely, good. Give those knees a nice hug in towards the tummy. And then come into a few wee circles outwards, just to release and stretch everything a little bit. Good. Lovely. Now put your feet flat down onto the floor again. You can use your band if you want to, if you have it handy. We're going to do some hip circles. I'm going to do it without the band tonight, but if you prefer to do it with the band, if you feel a bit more supported, feel free to wrap the band around your foot as you have your legs straight up towards the ceiling. Okay, we're going to do about 6 circles in one direction and then 6 in the other direction before we swap legs. So your opposite leg can be bent or straight out along the floor, just whichever you prefer. Mine's going to stay bent tonight. Okay, so take a breath in, and then on your exhale, lower the leg down towards the floor, then circle it wide and bring it back up. Lower and wide back up. Good. Now we're trying to keep the opposite leg nice and steady. So you can see I've got my hand on the opposite hip bone as a wee reminder just to keep everything on this side nice and steady and not let it all get carried over as we take the leg out wide. Last circle in this direction. Now we change direction, so take the leg out wide, bring it back to the center and up. Good, take it out wide, back in and up. Lovely. And up 2 more. If you're feeling lots of clicks or clunks or it's too much, just try and make the circle a wee bit smaller. Good, now give that knee a nice wee hug in before you swap over to the other side. Good. Just swap sides so I don't bash into my wall. Okay, so other leg now is up towards the ceiling. Take a nice breath in, and then on your exhale, lower the leg, circle it wide, bring it back up. Good, lower, wide, and up. Lovely. Trying to keep the opposite side, the opposite hip, nice and firm, nice and steady. Good. And last one in this direction. I think it's 6 or 7. My counting skills are good as always. Change direction, so take the leg out wide and then back in and up. Take it out wide, back in and up. Lovely. And 2 more. I'm clunky tonight, so I'm just going to reduce the size of my circle. Lovely. And then give the knee a nice wee hug in to the tummy and chest. Brilliant. Good. Okay, so from here we're going to roll over onto our side. So whichever side works for you first. And we're going to have the legs straight. Okay, so you have ankles, knees, hips and shoulders all in a nice straight line as best as you can manage. You could be propped up on your elbow, propped up on a cushion or a pillow, or lying flat out on your arm, whichever is comfortable for you. Okay, so we're going to do some leg lift and lower. So your free hand can be there to support you, or if you want extra core challenge, lift that free hand, put it up behind your head. And that means you'll be using lots of core stabilizer muscles to hold you steady and stop you from rolling around from side to side. Okay, so take a nice breath in, and then on your exhale, lift that top leg with your toes pointed, then flex the foot, lead with the heel as you inhale to lower. Good, exhale up, toes pointed, and inhale, flex and lower. Good, exhale up, inhale down. Good, keep on going. Just seeing, I think somebody was out and then had to come back in. I'll just reply now. I think I missed her. Good, so exhaling as you lift, inhaling as you lower. Good, do a couple more. Lovely. And then if you switch over to your other side. So getting your feet, knees, ankles, knees, hips and shoulders all in a nice straight line. Free hand either supporting you or challenging you. Now take a breath in to prepare, then on the exhale, lift with your toes pointed, then flex the foot as you breathe in and lower the leg back down with control. Good. Exhale up, inhale down. Perfect. She might not be coming back in now. I'll try and keep a better eye on it. Brilliant, keep on going. And last couple. Brilliant. Perfect. Okay, so from there, if you roll over onto your tummy, and we're going to have our arms stretched, if that feels okay. If any of this sort of upper body position doesn't work for you, just, bring your hands down either side of your shoulders or just even rest your head on your hands and just concentrate on the legs. Okay, so if everything's feeling comfortable enough, we're going to have our arms and legs stretched out, kind of at each corner of your mat. If you think about your arms and your hands and your feet reaching up towards the corners of your mat. Okay, now take a nice breath in, and then on the exhale, we're going to move opposite arm and opposite leg. So right arm and left leg lift as your head and chest lift as well, and then release. Then the other side. And release. Exhale up and down, up and down. Good. Lovely, just keep alternating. Okay, then we'll try a few where we lift everything up. So nice breath in, and then on the exhale, lift both arms, both legs, head and chest, and release. Exhale and lift, and release. Exhale and lift, and release, and lift, and release. Good, 2 more, lift, and release, and lift, and release. Perfect, good. Then if you just bring your hands down slightly, so your hands are kind of now level with your chin or your cheeks, and bring the elbows nice and close into the body. Now, when we do this, let's try not to sort of scrunch the shoulders up. So still think about retracting those shoulders down, creating lots of space between your shoulder and your ear. Now, take a nice breath in. And then as you breathe out, just start to lift your head, your chest, pressing down into the hands. Then see if you can lift the elbows as well, but still keep them close into the body. Don't let them flap out wide. And just use your glutes as well to help protect that lower back. And then slowly peel yourself back down. Tummy, ribs, chest, and chin. Good. Take a nice breath in. And then breathe out. Lift head, chest, tummy. Squeeze into those glutes. Use the glutes as well. And then lower elbows nice and close into the body. Good. Do a couple more of these, moving nice and slowly to your own body's limits. Not overdoing any of these back extensions. Good, we'll do one more. Exhale, lift. And lower. Brilliant. Then bring yourself up onto your hands and knees. Stretch out your spine, coming up into your nice cat stretch, rounding across the shoulders, looking back towards your knees and your feet. And then do a little bit of the cat-cow, breathing in, scooping, breathing out, rounding. Breathing in to scoop. Breathe out, round. One more. Lovely. Then coming into a nice flat spine position, take a breath in. And then on your exhale, slide your right arm and your left leg out. And then lift them up to shoulder height and hip height. Good. Then lower them down, slide them back in. Alternate to the other side. Left arm Right leg, slide and then lift. And lower, come back in. Good, keep on going. Just alternating whichever side you're using. If you're wobbling around too much, just keep both hands on the floor and just focus on the legs. Try and use your breath and those core muscles to help keep you steady and stop you from wobbling too much from side to side. Also, try to be mindful of how high you're lifting the leg, especially. Try not to lift it too high. Keeping it just to hip height and thinking more about reaching out far behind you rather than high up above you. Good. Doing one more on each side. Lovely. And then again, we come into our nice relaxation position. Toes together, knees a little wider apart, and just push yourself back, bum towards the heels, and stretch forwards again, bringing your head down onto the floor if it is comfortable for you. Rest and breathe there for a moment. Lovely. Okay, then if you swing back round into a seated position again, down at the end of your mat, and we're going to go back down onto our backs. So either hands in behind your knees for support or arms extended, whichever you prefer. Start with a straight spine, take a breath in, and then on your out breath, lead with a little pelvic tilt back, and then slowly lower yourself down onto the floor. And then just bring your feet a little closer in to the bum. And shuffle around, get yourself into a comfortable position again. Now, if you lift your hands up towards the ceiling and just put your palms together. Good. Okay, now from here, like we did in our shoulder bridge, I want you to bring your feet together, but take your knees apart. So you're in a nice diamond position with the knees. Now we're going to come up into a little abdominal curl, a crunch, and just bring our hands down in between the knees, reaching forwards, reaching hands towards the feet. Okay, so take a breath in to prepare. And then on your out breath, lift your head and your shoulders off the floor and just reach those arms forwards in the direction of your feet. Trying to keep those knees nice and wide. Good. Then breathe in and lower back down. And repeat. Exhale. Lift head and shoulders. Reach the fingertips through the legs towards your feet. Good. Breathe in and release back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, release. Slow, controlled movement. If you're finding that you're straining a lot in the neck, just put one or even two hands behind the head so your head feels supported and you're able to more concentrate on the abdominals as you do the crunch. Exhale, lift. Inhale, release. Good. Exhale, lift. Inhale, release. Good. Let's do 3 more. Lovely. Slow work. Brilliant. Do 1 more. Good. Okay, relax head and shoulders. Bring your knees together again or back to hip width, feet flat on the floor. Now get your pelvis into that nice neutral position again. And we're just going to lift our right leg into our tabletop position and then lift our left leg into tabletop position. So you'll feel a little bit of a shift in the pelvic position, but not so much that you're really tilted back and the lower spine is pressing into the floor. So I still want you to have a wee bit of lightness in that small of the lower back, and that's the lower back position. Okay, now take a nice breath in, and then on your exhale, we're going to straighten our right leg and lower it down towards the floor, hovering it off the floor. And then inhale, bring it back to that tabletop position. Exhale, straighten your left leg, lower it, hover it off the floor. And then bring it back. Good, right leg again. And back. And left leg again. Reaching long through the toes. Clenching the thigh muscles. Now stick with one leg at a time, if that feels enough. If you want an extra challenge, you can try straightening and lowering both legs together at the same time, and then bringing them back in. If you need less intense work, just keep the opposite foot on the floor and work one leg. So I'm showing you that now. With my left leg, straighten, lower with the right foot still on the floor. So there is a level and an option for everybody. And what you feel like doing one night might be very different another night. So just go with it and try and learn how to comfortably challenge yourself without overdoing things and without becoming too obsessed with being competitive, and pushing yourself to your limit and all of that silliness that we tend to do. So it's all about getting that balance right between a little bit of a challenge, so you get both the physical and the mental benefits of achieving what you set out to achieve, but not pushing so hard that you feel deflated or you feel too sore the next day to do anything. Good, last couple. Brilliant, good. Give those knees a nice hug in towards the chest again. And just rock gently from side to side. Okay, one last little exercise before we go into some stretches and breathing. So if you just start with your legs, your knees lift, your feet lifted, knees slightly in towards your tummy, and hands and arms pressing down onto the floor. So we're just going to do a little bit of a reverse crunch where we try and lift the hips up off the floor. So take a nice breath in, and then on your exhale, bring the knees in and try and lift your hips up. Breath in, breath out. Good. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, prepare. Breath out. Lift. So use your hands. You can see I'm really pressing down into my fingers as you try and lift your hips and your spine up off the floor. Good. Do a couple more. And again, don't worry if you're just managing a little bit. Whatever you do is perfect for you, okay? Lovely. Knees in. One last little hug. And then put your feet flat down onto the floor. Lift your right foot, put it over onto your left knee, and just press the right knee away for a moment. And then switch, so right foot back down onto the floor, left foot over onto your right knee, and just push the left knee away for a moment. Good. And then bring both your feet flat down onto the floor. Take your arms slightly out to the sides and just let your knees rock from side to side. Now your knees don't need to stay together for this. Just loosely falling to the right and then falling to the left. Good. One more to each side. Okay. Then give your right knee a nice hug into the tummy. Stretch your left leg out long along the floor, reaching long through the toes on the left foot and really pulling that right knee in as far as you can manage. Hold for a couple of breaths. And then swap, hugging the left knee in, stretching your right leg out long. Holding for one more breath. And then just resting in a comfortable position, whether that's lying flat, lying on your side, sitting up, or lying down with knees bent, feet flat, whatever works best for you. And maybe putting one hand to the belly, one hand to the chest. And just resting now for a final moment or two where we just breathe and notice what happens to the body with every breath in and every breath out. So feeling the lungs and the belly expand as you bring the air into the body. And then feeling them deflate and drop down as you breathe all the air out of the body. And also doing a quick scan of those parts of the body where we do tend to carry most of our tension. So checking in with the forehead, the jaw, the shoulders. And just trying to soften and relax these areas. Nice breath in. Nice breath out. And doing 2 or 3 final breaths this way. And then just slowly opening the eyes again if you had them closed. Maybe circling your wrists and your ankles, stretching long through the legs and stretching the arms. And then in your own time, just getting ready to sit back up again with no sense of rush or stress. Ready for the rest of your day or the rest of your evening. I'll come and stop on the recording.